Hi, this is Alex of WheelerFounders.com, and today I'm here with Marcos. Marcos, great to have you here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Marcos Moralez. I'm a user experience designer. I've been designing for about 12 years now, from large companies to small startups.
Cool, great. So when you say that you have long experience working with big companies as well as with startups, what do you prefer, and what is your experience, how it differs from working for a big company or with a startup?
Well, I mean, there's, with the big companies, if you choose to work for them, there are certain benefits that you can get, from, either equity in the company and it's established, so that's a benefit. But I see that, working for large companies, it tends to move a little bit slower and it's harder to make your dent in the company. So it really depends on whether you prefer streamlined processes. But on the flip side, with startups, you really have the ability to come in on the ground floor, which is kind of a buzzword, but the ground floor, and make your dent. Test out assumptions that you may have, and just validate those and move quickly. And I think that's key to working with a startup, is that you're working with a small team with core specialties, and you're able to move quickly throughout that time spent. So.
Okay, cool, thanks. So, I mean, especially for tech startups, may they be web-based or mobile-based, I mean, user interface design is like really a key factor to the success. But there's a huge gap between if you have a really great user experience or if you have a good user experience. And I think a question for a lot of startups is, do I really need a great one? Do I need to reinvent the wheel, or is it okay for me to just use design mechanics that are best practices and have worked for a long time? So what do you think about that?
Well, if you're a startup, you need to try to stay lean, and really get the most bang for your buck. So I think that when you're designing something from scratch or building something from scratch, you really need to focus your energy on your core business and not really worry about trying to reinvent the wheel. So from my experience, if something is working and it's out there and it's adopted and people are used to it, the user experience also ties into like how intuitive the application is, whether it's web-based or mobile, how the ease of use of that application. So I'm all for using things that have already been built if they make sense for your application.
Okay, and there's also a discussion about copycatting versus innovation. So I mean, this is really interesting, because if you use best practice examples, there's always people that say, okay, this is just copycatting, but obviously it's not. What do you think about that?
Well, from the question, I think to answer it how I think you're asking it is, when you're building an application, if the application is a copycat of something else, like an Instagram, but an Instagram for cats, something like that, it kind of I mean, you don't really have a core value for it. So I think that in that sense, it just doesn't make sense, But if you're talking about copycatting, let's say you're building a mobile application and you like the way that Instagram has their back end and the underlying social connections, that experience is something that you really need to take a look at. And if it makes sense for your business, then I think it's okay to take some of those take out some of those core pieces and build your app on top of that. So you have to really look at how the application is built, the value proposition of your application. And then if it makes sense to, look at other applications that have tried to solve that problem and pick away some of grab some takeaways from those applications. And it's okay to build your application even better. I'm not sure if that answered it quite exactly, but
yeah, pretty much, cool. So for you as user interface designer and user experience expert, I mean, you always have to be at the pulse of new technology developments. So what do you think are the trends for the next few months, maybe for the next years?
So some of the trends that I'm actually excited about are using mobile in context. I'm actually really excited about that one. So as an example of that technology is when you go to a restaurant and you sit down, opening up your phone, or if you have a tablet, I don't carry a tablet restaurants, but if you did, seeing what's on the menu at that restaurant while you're there, being able to pay for it while you're there, getting the attention of waiters. Another example of that would be I go to a baseball game and I'm at the baseball game and something amazing happens. I'm in the stands and I'm like, I really want to see that again. Opening up your phone and being able to, because you're in the stadium, it knows you're in the stadium and showing you the replay, things like that. So it's using mobile in context. There's other things that are happening in the space, but that's just one that I'm excited about. So.
Yeah, so that's like having a second screen in real life.
Exactly.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So, have there been any web-based services or mobile apps that have really impressed you lately, UX-wise or UI-wise?
Yeah, I think that UI-wise, a lot of applications are really stepping up their game. It's very rare that you see an application that everyone is talking about that doesn't have a great UI, but that's just a visual layer. As far as the user experience, some of the applications that I've been using are Path, which is they do an amazing job with the user experience. And another one, going back to the Instagram, Instagram actually has, a very intuitive foundation. And it's just when you don't notice the way the application works and you don't have any fusses about how it works, that's how it's a great user experience.
Okay, talking about user experience, you set up microstartups.com. That's based on UX principles and lean principles. So could you tell us a bit about microstartups.com?
Sure. So the microstartups.com is a parent company that I founded. It encompasses all of the projects that I'm working on. Currently, there's 5 projects that we're working on right now, and just opportunities that we see in each different area. One of them is tackling the sports, the second screen sports application. So we're building an iPad application that really uses sports in that mobile context when you're at the stadium or when you're at your friend's house watching TV with everyone. You can see all your stats, you can see the Twitter feeds, you can see all of your friends that are also in the application, or even your friends that aren't on the application, and it helps you communicate with them while you don't have to go to another application or another screen to view all of that information. So you get it all in one context. There's a couple other ones, but I won't get into it right now. But I will tell you about the application that we recently won a hackathon with. It's called Let's Go. We were the best iOS app. And what Let's Go does is it allows you to find events in your area that are close to you. Again, going back to the mobile in context that I spoke about earlier. Wherever you're at, you can open up this application and see all of the things happening in your area. Not only that, but it's not only event discovery, but it's also people discovery. So it matches you up with people going to the event that also have the same interests. So I know that you're recently new in town. When you come and connect your Facebook, it'll pull in all of your interests, and then it'll show you other people like you that are also going to this event, and it'll introduce you guys so you all can go to this event, and there's some similarities between your personalities. So I'm excited about that too. Those are just 2 of the 5 that we're working on right now, but yeah.
Okay, cool. And more or less, last question. What inspires you in your daily work as a UI designer and UX designer?
So, as an artist, inspiration is everywhere. But beyond that cliche, I love going to Dribbble. Dribbble has amazing artists on there from all over the world. And the thing about that, that experience on their website is it's very difficult to get in. So if you're not on Dribbble, it's pretty difficult to get an invite because it's so limited. But that also keeps the talent that's on the website and producing this content for this website very high. Smashing Magazine is another one. They have amazing articles, everything from visual design to user experience, mobile, and responsive design, even developing. Another website that I like, that I think a lot of people have really stopped reading over the years, is just computer arts. I love computer arts. They have a tutorial section that's really robust, and if you can see the vision of what they're trying to do in the tutorials, you can really apply those to a real situation. So if you're doing an ad campaign, or if you're building an app and you want an amazing background for your application, you can use those tutorials and really build your skill set. So computer arts, I think it's computerarts.co.uk. So it's really good.
Okay, Marcos, thanks a lot for the interview. Great to have you here. And I wish you all the best and good luck with microstartups.com. Any last words?
No, just thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Cool.